Well, hello! I just want to talk about a few little tools I've been using. I was going to say using recently, but one is a recent acquirement, one I've been using for ages. A little bit of history. On my backpack at all times I have this little thing, this clip. On it is two tools. The first one I use for every single thing. It's this little DYS spanner thing, and it's got the 8mm here, so it should basically go on just about every single quad type motor. Well, just about anyway. Most of the ones for 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch quad all use these same M8s. I think it's M8. And you can really get behind it, and you can get some good leverage with this. Much better than screwdriver, nice and small. I liked it. The other thing, this is where it comes into history. This is a little 3D printed part, especially for these little Cobra motors. Do you remember these? These used to be all the rage just a couple of years ago, and they look tiny now. This is 2204 2300s, and what I could do with this is jam it into there to hold the motor still, and then with this tool I could tighten it all the way up. Now, of course, since that time this has become a little bit useless unless I fly this one, which is pretty good. So these other motors, like these 2206s, what I've been having to do is try and hold the motor whilst doing this up. Now, generally speaking, these large motors aren't too big. I can get it done up, and then what happens is I think it's tight and I can still just about move the prop, which means it's not quite enough. And I always find it quite tricky on just using my fingers to grip, to get a real good tight grip on that. So recently I've just been checking out these little Realac things. These are these little pliers with these little soft bits in here, and the idea is then you can get your pliers onto the motor, really hold that nice and tight, when with your other hand you can tighten and untighten. And that's been working quite well for me. I mean, they don't lock down all the way, but they lock enough so by the time it starts to slip here, you've got no movement anymore in the prop, which I think is pretty good. And you'll notice all over them they've got little bits of screw things, and there's this other little thing that closes, and that is the perfect size for going onto antennas and being able to tighten those up. Of course, you need to make sure that it's not going to shift the other way. It's pretty good, but it's not perfect. What I find is that the hardest thing to tighten up are smaller motors. This little Jet RC Sparrow has 1408s, and it uses the same M8s, and they're locking nuts, so they're quite hard, but there's not hardly anything to grab. So when you're trying to tighten up here, I mean, what I'm trying not to do is hold on to the prop as well to tighten it, because I could deform the prop that way. And the problem with these here is the motors are too small. I found a way around it. If I use some silicone tubing, and I did have more of this to wind round, I can then hold on very tightly like that. And although there's a little bit of deformation in the actual tubing itself, I can get it again tight enough. I can then tighten that all the way up or untighten it before, and I know if it's slipping, then basically that prop is not going to move, and that's tight enough. So I mention this because I don't know if my hands are super weak or other people have the same problems about having to grab things and really tighten them up. But one of these is so cool, and that's why it just sits on this little clip on my bag, so I've always got it to hand. And I think this is working for me. I have to do a couple of bits with it. I wish there was like it would compress smaller so I could get hold of those bits, but I much prefer it than trying to really hold my fingers tight and doing it. So yeah, check it out if you want to. Links are down below. Got these from Banggood. One's Realac, one's DYS, and they seem to do the jobs. If you've got, of course, another method of grabbing hold of something which doesn't involve brute strength on your fingers, of which mine seem very weak, of course, let me know down below in the comments, and I'll check it out. Anyway, I hope that was helpful, and I will catch you next video. Bye for now.
Well, you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw, then please consider subscribing, and if you really like what you saw, then be sure to check out the link to my blog for a variety of ways in which you can help support this channel.